everyone, I'm Brady Krysiewicz from Keeper for a Cure, and welcome to 10 Questions with a Pro. Today's guest is Bella Bixby, who plays for a goalkeeper for Portland Thorns FC. Bella spent her 4 years at Oregon State University. Bella played 72 games. She got 18 clean sheets and has set a university record for the most career saves. Holy moly, that's super awesome. She was selected in the third round of the 2018 NWSL College Draft by Portland Thorns FC. She spent part of her 2019 on loan in Israel. Then she made her professional debut for the club on June 27, 2020 in the 2020 NWSL Challenge Cup. And I'm so excited to have Bella on 10 Questions with a Pro. Bella, thank you for being on the show and taking time to chat with me. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing great too. All right, Bella, let's get into these questions. Why did you become a goalie?
Personally, I was doing a lot of sports as a kid and loved every single one of them, but being a goalkeeper, just being that wild person on the team that's going to do what no one else wanted to do was always a fun idea for me as, a 12-year-old. As a kid, I was also pretty tall. I'm like six foot tall, so I think a lot of my coaches thought that it would be a good idea for me to be in goal as well. So sometimes I wanted to be out there scoring goals, but my coaches had different ideas, and that's kind of the story of how I became a goalkeeper.
Yeah, you start playing and then you sort of find out I have the height and stuff.
Right.
And then you get it down and you're the tall person on the team. You've got long arms and You're really big. You take up a lot of the goal.
Right.
Now, what's your favorite part of being a goalie?
I think my favorite part about being a goalkeeper is definitely like 1v1s and foot saves. I think that it's something that happens so fast, and it can be hard to train, but I think it's the most fun to train because it is something that's, the field players don't necessarily get to do. We obviously have to train a lot of different things, crosses, shot stopping, diving, but foot saves and 1v1s, it just really allow me to put my own style into my goalkeeping, which I really enjoy.
Yeah, you're the only person who could use their hands on the team, and then your favorite saves are 1v1s and foot saves.
Yeah, I guess you're right. That is kind of weird, huh?
Yeah. What steps help you achieve the ability to become a professional level goalkeeper?
I think for me, I started to really grow and develop at a faster rate when I started journaling or setting goals for myself. It's just not good enough if you want to go to a high level to just, show up to practice and say you want to do really well that day. Well, that's a good start. But for me, it really changed when I started setting both long-term goals that I wanted to accomplish, like, being drafted in the college draft, or small-term goals for every day, wanting to grow in every training. And I think that's really what helped me jump to the next level, was setting those short-term and long-term goals.
Yeah, because you could say, like, to whoever you want to, I'm going to do good this practice, but you can't just say, you got to show it.
Right, exactly. And you need to have that consistency over time, and that can be hard if you don't have a goal you're working towards.
Yeah. What motivates you to keep training hard to maintain being a professional?
I think for me, I know it sounds cliche, but I really just love the sport, and I'm so lucky that I have it as a job and not just as a hobby, since it's been a hobby for the majority of my life. I think maintaining that love for the sport is what allows me to show up every day for practice, even when I'm beaten up and sore, and maybe just we've all been there when we're tired. I think that love for the sport has just it's never gone away, and that's really important.
Yeah, because you can make the high level team and then not to show up to practices and then not play, because you got to really show that you want that spot. You don't want to just do it for the love and fame. You want to earn that spot.
Exactly.
What sacrifices did you make through your life to be able to become a professional goalkeeper?
I mean, certainly certain, like, like thinking back when I was younger, just like missing summer vacations, being at tournaments, and not necessarily having the same opportunities to hang out with my friends. I did when I could, certainly, but then as I got older, it's I'm married now, so those sacrifices continue to come, and I'm on the road a lot, and I think that if you just really love the sport and those around you are willing to support you, it doesn't come without sacrifices. I'm sure you understand that in terms of how much time it takes up, not just to go to training and go to games, but how much extra time it devotes to get better. Definitely comes with a lot of sacrifices.
Because you could be good at the sport but you could just tell your parents I love it, but really in your mind you don't like it. And then the more and more you like it, the more and more your parents will make more sacrifices to drive you to places.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember being your age and my parents were making a ton of sacrifices so that I could play this sport that I loved, kicking a soccer ball around for fun. They probably thought I was insane, but they loved and supported me through that. And, certainly they had to make sacrifices for me. And I'm grateful.
Yeah. It's a sport. You just kick the soccer ball around and you don't really realize how big the sport is until you really watch games, how big the sport really is.
You're right.
If you weren't a professional goalie, what else would you be?
I wasn't a professional goalkeeper. I haven't thought this one through, believe it or not. Still waiting to grow up. I just started going back to school. I will be going back to school this fall, so I'm trying to have a plan B in place, and I think that my answer would be working as a wildlife biologist in Oregon or conservation biologist or anything where I'm working with the environment and natural resources in Oregon because I grew up here and I absolutely love it. And I share that passion off the field as well and just try to spend as much time in nature, hiking, fishing, camping as possible. And I'd love if my job incorporated that in some way. So I think I wasn't a professional goalkeeper. That's what I'd like to do.
Yeah. Wildlife. I've never really been interested in like bugs or anything. They gross me out.
That's okay.
Yeah, I know. If I see a spider on my arm, I'll scream like a girl.
Oh, you and me both. I'm not a big fan of spiders. I don't want a job where I have to deal with spiders. No way.
I was playing around with my friends the other day, and we were playing by my soccer net, and we saw a snake in the woods, and I ran away.
No thanks. Yeah, I mean, I say wildlife biology, but I don't want to be dealing with your spiders or your snakes.
What have you done on the field and off the field that you're most proud of?
I think most recently, I've been dealing with a lot of injuries, especially most recently. I tore my ACL. Right now, I'm 7 weeks post-op. But before I tore my ACL, I was dealing with a lot of long-term injuries, shattered fingers and torn ligaments and all these, things that have kind of been plaguing me. So I think I'm most proud of my ability to still grow when I have been healthy, grow as an athlete, because it's really easy to get into kind of a rut when you're injured and see the world differently when you're an injured athlete and kind of isolated from your team. So I'm really proud of how I've stayed with it and maintained a good mentality to taking good care of my body, because I certainly wasn't always the best at that in college, and I feel like I've really nailed it as a professional athlete.
Yeah, I've had 3 broken bones for me. One was from soccer, and 2 others were just me being stupid.
Being a kid, yeah.
Yeah, being a kid.
Being a kid, you got to still be a kid. Yeah, broken bones aren't fun, and coming back.
No, they're not.
Either. You just have to do a lot of waiting and
then it's like all the injuries have to be like at late at night and like 2 a.m. It's not like they can be at 3 in the afternoon. It's always like in the morning.
I haven't had one of those in a while. I'm 25. I haven't had a 2 a.m. broken bone in a while.
Yeah, my last broken bone was my leg because my friend pushed me down a hill when we were playing soccer.
Sounds like you need a new friend. I'm just joking. That kind of stuff happens, but all my injuries have been related to soccer recently, which makes it even worse because you're doing it while you love something. But I'm glad that you get some of your injuries doing some fun stuff playing with friends.
Yeah. Once you get hurt, you got to walk it off and stuff. You got to keep training, though.
Yeah. You got to listen to your I would say it's important to listen to your doctors and so that you can heal properly. And because if you don't listen to your doctors, you can't stick around and play professionally for a long time because you have things that you didn't take care of well. So as hard as it is, sometimes I just have to kind of rein it in and listen to the professionals that are in charge of my injuries. And that can be frustrating, but it's better for me long term.
Yeah, unless you're Buffon and goes through every injury and plays till he's probably going to be like 50.
Yeah, some athletes are freaks of nature and can just, play just. I know a few, but I'm not one of them.
Yeah. What goalies or soccer players inspired you to want to be a professional?
I think definitely as a kid, Hope Solo was an absolute beast, and I aspired to have that level of competitiveness, that level of that she had as a goalkeeper. She just kind of had that fire in her eyes that I didn't see in many other athletes, male or female. So I thought she was, and she was in my position, obviously, as a goalkeeper. Serena Williams, same thing. Just an absolute role model in terms of grace and just power in terms of how I wanted to be as a female athlete. On the male side, I'd say I really enjoyed watching Tim Howard growing up. He would have these phenomenal games that would just blow my mind and really come up big for the United States. And he was always fun to watch as a kid for me. And I still think of him when I ask that question, even though he wasn't the best goalkeeper in the world during his prime, but just I thought he was so fun to watch as a kid. So.
Yeah, he changed the game for me because I watched one of his USA games, and then when I saw him how loud he was on the field, I started talking my next practice, and then it kind of just went on from there. And now I'm like the loudest kid on the field now.
Yeah, you need those role models to kind of guide you into the goalkeeper you want to be.
Yeah,
sure.
But Hope Solo and Tim Howard are both beasts. Like if there's one definition to describe them both, it's like a lion because they're beasts.
Beast mode. For sure.
Yep. What are your favorite gloves to wear in net and why?
Growing up, I wore a lot of different brands. I would just like to note this is not an endorsement. I'm not sponsored by anyone glove-wise, but I would still choose personally I like Nike SGTs, which are kind of have like a natural, like when you're in glove, they kind of are naturally curved. Your hands aren't like this; they're like this. They've got these ridges on the inside, these bumps. And the palms are laser engraved. So I think that they do really well in wet conditions. Growing up here in Oregon, I had my fair share of rainy trainings and soaking wet gloves. And I remember when I got my first pair of those, I thought that they were just a game changer for wet weather. So I still wear those as a professional today. And I would recommend them. I like the bumps on the inside. I like the texture. It makes you feel like I've got some grip in that wet weather.
I've never had a pair of ones with the bumps inside, but they make a lot of different ones. Like Royce makes ones with the bumps on them, and they look so weird.
Yeah. I like that natural contour that it gives me, too, because I don't have the biggest hands. I'm definitely one of the tallest goalkeepers in the league, but my hands aren't super proportional. I have, like, pretty normal-sized hands, so that contour gives me that just, like, gets my hands into the set position a little bit easier.
Yeah.
I find that when I wear gloves that flare out a little bit, I just have a little bit less control personally. So that's why I like the contour a little bit too.
Nice. Is there a save that you made that really sticks out in your mind?
Well, my first few games here in the NWSL were this summer, and I feel like that tournament just flew by, and then I got injured, so I haven't really processed it. But the one that sticks out in my mind because of how I was processing it mentally on the field was against the Washington Spirit, and Ashley Sanchez on the Spirit was wide, and she did an outside of the foot slip pass, and I had to close the space to an oncoming striker. And she hit it first time, and I was really balanced and in a good position to be able to push do a full extension and save that. And I just was really proud of that one because it was a tricky situation, and I came out of it making a good save, a critical save. And I'd say that was my most recent favorite save. It wasn't super flashy, but not that, good saves don't need to be highlight reel saves all the time.
No.
I just felt like I did all the right things in that moment, and that's why it's my favorite save of the tournament, I'd say.
Yeah, because you can make an easy save, but you could be like, yes, I've been practicing that save for a while.
Yeah, absolutely. I think within our goalkeeper group at Portland, we aim to reduce that highlight real material looking saves as much as we can. We want to make it look as easy as possible because there's nothing more frustrating, right? When a striker shoots their best on you and you just make it look easy. It's the best feeling, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, sometimes you just gotta jump and hope to get the ball. Sometimes you just
you just go for it.
try.
That's what I did, and I saved it.
What advice would you give a young goalkeeper like me that wants to play at a professional level?
I think for me as a kid, I wish that I had kind of discovered what I would call my why sooner, which is the reason why you're doing it and the reason that you want to play at a high level, because you might find that you get to college and your why changes, or that your why just isn't doing it for you anymore, or that you realize you don't have a why. So I'd say for a young goalkeeper, figuring out your motivation, and if it changes, it changes. But if you can understand why you're doing it, you can find a really great source of motivation to grow and set those goals I was talking about earlier. I wish I had like a magic statement or sentiment to give to a young goalkeeper, like do this and this will work, but it really is up to you and your goal setting and how you attack each training with a growth mindset. So that would be my advice.
That's great advice. Now, do you have any questions for me?
I do. I guess, who's your favorite? Who's your besides Tim Howard, because we kind of touched on him a little bit, who is your favorite athlete? It doesn't have to be a goalkeeper that you've seen while you've been growing up.
Well, my favorite athlete is a goalkeeper, and it's Tyler Miller.
Okay, cool. Why?
He's just a great guy in general.
Just a great guy. Love that.
Well, he's a good goalkeeper too.
Oh, I hope so. If you like him, I hope he's a good goalkeeper.
Yeah.
My next question is, what is your favorite aspect of goalkeeping? Like I said that I love foot saves, but what's your favorite part about goalkeeping?
Probably making like that top hand save.
The top hand save, yeah.
Like it rebounds off of somebody's head and you have to like jump back over and get to the other side.
Yeah, those are fun. Is there anything that you're like really looking forward to working on in the next year that maybe, like, this is a growth mindset question, like if there's something you feel like you need to get better at, what is it?
Well, I really am hoping sometime this year or next year, I've interviewed a lot of pros. I'm hoping to get to train with one of them.
Oh, nice. That would be really cool. That's a really good goal.
Yeah. One of them actually lives near where we live.
What an awesome, I hope that works out.
Yeah, I hope it does too.
My first time training with a pro was when I was a junior in high school. I was 17 and I came to train with Portland while Paul Riley was the coach, so not the same coach that I have now. But it was a really great experience. So if you could do that, I'd say do that as soon as you can, because it's an amazing experience and you'll learn a ton. So I hope that works out for you.
Yeah, I've already trained with one pro before, John Bush.
Nice.
I've trained with him before. Now, do you have any other questions for me?
Nope. All good.
All right. Bella, thank you so much for coming on 10 Questions with the Pro. I really appreciate your time, and it was an honor to speak to you and learn more about you. Remember to check out this show and all our other shows on our YouTube channel. We also have a podcast version of the show on Spotify and iTunes. Just search Keeper for a Cure and remember to subscribe and like. Check out our website, www.keeperforacure.com, to see how you can help my Keeper for a Cure campaign, which is raising money for the Phillips Cancer Center in Charlottesville, Virginia. I'm Brady Krysiewicz, and my guest was Bella Bixby. Thank you for tuning in to 10 Questions with the Pro.